Okay guys, as you may or may not know, molson-coors is one big happy company, I guess, one big happy family. And so the Coors side of molson-coors, they have this nice little budget beer called Keystone. Now I guess the American version is technically called Keystone Premium, and then they have the more famous Keystone Light. So it's sort of like a budget version of Coors, I guess, is what we're going for. I think the Keystone Premium on the USA side is 4.4% or something like that. It said on Beer Advocate. Now, someone might be able to correct me on that. Is there just a regular Keystone that's not called Keystone Premium? I'd like to know, so put a note down there in my comments section if you do know. But this is the Molson made version for here in Canada. This is 4.9%. Keystone Light is also being marketed here in Canada. It just showed up a few months back. So there's been a heavy marketing campaign there for Keystone Light, and they have the Keystone Light in the big talls. But this was the only one that had at the NSLC so far, the regular Keystone. My brother picked this up. I didn't pick this up. He saw it the other day there. I can't confirm that the mountains change color like the Coors version. I don't know if they do or not. I didn't see a before and after thing. Anyway, yeah, we'll pour it and we'll get back to it. As you can guess, this is a macro lager. So we'll be right back. Okay, we're back with Keystone lager. So, typical lager color, nothing to be amazed about, I guess. A lot of carbonation coming up in this one. Very, I wouldn't say it's creamy, a very soapy head, but with like really small bubbles, very small uniform bubbles. Color seems a tad more golden than maybe a regular lager, just slightly more golden. Okay, we'll get right to the aroma. Very dry. Very dry. Very dry, musty, kind of cardboardy smell. Definitely no sweet notes in this one. I was expecting right away, like, it's generally most macro lagers, you're gonna get more sweet, grainy notes, grassy notes. Not in this one's case. Yeah, it's just got a sort of a musty kind of cardboard smell. I wouldn't say it's a terrible smell, but it's just a very dry, musty kind of smell. Not particularly appealing or inviting, but not off-putting at the same time, I guess. So that head looks like it might stick around a bit. That's nice looking. I like that. It's almost got a little bit of a milkshakey kind of lumpiness to it. Interesting. Well, it gets points for presentation anyway. So we'll go right to the taste. Ooh. Ooh. That has a really off-putting sweet note to it. Again, there's sort of the musty, dry, kind of semi-grain kind of taste, basically coating the mouth. But in between that, there's this weird sweetness. It's almost apple juice-like, kind of a apple juice sort of note going on there. Yeah, no sir, I don't like it. Yeah, I can't say that's all that good. Ugh. This is one of those macro lagers that would, personally, this is just my personal preference. I like a macro lager that has a more of a peppery, floral, sort of a good mix of like the hops coming out, and you know, sort of maybe a peppery character at the end, or maybe like citrus or something like that. I really can't deal with these like really sweeter lagers all that well. There's some rare exceptions, but this one here has a kind of a sweetness to it that I could see turning on me after like 2 or 3 of these. Realistically, stepping back from it, I can say it's not a terrible macro lager. Like, I've had so much worse, like so much worse. But at the same time, it's nothing great, and personally, for myself, it's one of those ones that I just wouldn't be able to handle any more than about 3 of them without wanting to move on to something way better. I guess I could give it a slight recommendation, but personally, I wouldn't. For myself, I wouldn't recommend it. And if you're not a fan of substandard macro lagers, you definitely want to avoid this. Yeah, that apple taste is starting to really come out. That's just personally me. I don't like apples, so an apple taste generally puts me off. If you like that sort of sweetness in your lager, then by all means try it out, because it's a nice budget macro lager. I mean, you're gonna get it for a couple bucks cheaper at least than your standard macro lagers. I think it's here in Canada, here in Nova Scotia, it's 18 something. I can see this one actually doing pretty well, selling pretty well, because we recently had a tax hike here in Nova Scotia that, even though it only went up like a couple percent, it significantly raised the prices of quite a few beers. So I can see this sort of thing now selling a lot better, where before it probably wouldn't, because this stuff here, it was relegated over to the corner with like the other budget beers like Busch and fucking Old Milwaukee and stuff like that. I'd say this for it, it's better than Busch and Old Milwaukee, but still it's nothing great. So, you know, I guess slight slight recommendation. Personally, for me, not a recommendation, but it's not horrible, I guess. Alright guys, see you later.